Is it over?
No, I haven't started. About to start a second.
See?
There you go. This is the debate thing I do.
You're on mute.
Okay. I think we are ready to get going. Good afternoon. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. What a day. This is one of my favorite days, one of my favorite lunches of the year. Of course, it is a little different this year, but on behalf of the Broward County Public Schools Debate Initiative, I really want to thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy day, out of your schedules to join us today. Everybody's going through different things. Everybody's got different challenges to meet, but focusing on the good work that is being done to raise, to bring up, to educate, to motivate our young people, it is never, ever anything but a good investment of our time. This is our 6th annual lunch in. Looks a little different this year, of course, but this is a really important endeavor, a really important mission that we're all here to support. And as a fan, not only of Broward debate, but as a newly minted debate parent, I've got one of my sons involved this year as well. I'm incredibly proud to report the state of debate in Broward County is strong. I'm Eric Yutzi. I'm the morning anchor at Channel 10. I thank so many of you for waking up bright and early, dark and early sometimes, to get your day going. It is my privilege and my honor to be able to get you going every day. And it's certainly an honor that several years they have brought me back here to be a part of this event. We are all yearning for normalcy. I know it is something that we all feel a loss of. And we just hope for this hour or so that this program reminds you that the bottom line is we are stronger in this community together. We are stronger together. And maybe more importantly, and as you'll find out, and as you'll witness here today, the future is in very, very good hands with the young people in Broward County. So without any further ado, let's get this luncheon going. I want to turn it over to Broward County School Board Chair, Dr. Rosalind Osgood. She's live with the rest of the host committee at the Broward Center for the Performing Arts. She's going to formally open our program with a prologue. Dr. Osgood, good afternoon.
Is treated just because of the color of their skin. It is a call to action for each one of us as Americans to become peacemakers. The Hebrews use this word for peace, shalom. The Greeks use this word, irene. A peacemaker is one who is intentional about making peace. And you and I can be peacemakers of today by showing compassion to one another. So in my effort to show compassion to you, I leave you with these words. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. If you see someone without a smile, give them yours. Make the rest of your life the best of your life. And now I get to introduce the next person that's coming to the podium. I have the joy and pleasure for the last 8 years of serving on the Broward County School Board with this phenomenal leader and trailblazer, a sister who has foresight and vision, who loves children, and who I would want standing by me at any battle. She is brilliant. She has foresight and vision. She works really hard, and she's committed to this debate program. And it is because of her leadership and others that are here today that our students all over the district have this opportunity that changed their lives forever. If we was live and we were in a room, I would demand that you stand up and give my friend, the newly elected vice chair of the Broward County School Board, a standing ovation. But because I'm a millennial born in the wrong generation, and I know that we're using technology, I'm going to ask you to just clap your virtual hands as my friend, Ms. Lori Levison, comes to the stage at this time.
Thank you, Dr. Osgood, our newly elected chair, who I'm looking forward to working with as our vice chair. And thank you for your kind words. Welcome on behalf of the School Board of Broward County. I want to thank all of my colleagues who support our debate initiative every year, and thank those who are attending virtually today with us. I also want to thank our superintendent, Robert Runcie, where this program would not be possible without his support of it from the very beginning. I was a debate mom to my sons in high school, traveled to their tournaments, took part in many different ways. And when I got on the school board, I wanted to make sure that every child had this opportunity, regardless of their socioeconomic background. At that time, we only had debate in some of our high schools, and that was in 2012. Fast forward 8 years, we now have a honors classes and competition team at every high school. We have it at every middle school, over 100 elementary schools, and our centers also have it as well. And I'm so excited that our children have the opportunity to experience debate. Today, I am very fortunate to be hosting this lunch-in with an outstanding host committee. Just going to thank each one of them. First, I'm going to mention Eugene Pettis. He was the first one I actually spoke to when he was president of the Florida Bar at the time. I had approached him about a synergy between law and debate, that natural synergy, and about getting law firms involved to support the work we were doing. And he, from the very beginning, jumped on it and has been an integral part since that time of expanding the opportunity. Then we presented Jean and I presented at the Broward Workshop Education Committee, and there was Senator George Lemieux. And we found out at that presentation that he was a debater himself, and any of you who are debaters know the passion that you have about debate and sharing it with others. And he has gotten involved with many of our sponsors, with making sure that people know what we're doing, and has really moved the initiative forward over the past 6 years. State Attorney Mike Satz, he actually came to one of our debate events at Gunster that Senator Lemieux was hosting at the very beginning. And he got involved with us from that point, held a clothing drive in his office and building, because we have a clothing bank that you're going to hear about later, where we give our students clothing for debate. Suits, career attire, shoes, belts, and get them ready to compete. And then our newest member, Dr. Wael Barsoom, he was our Community Champion of the Year last year, and he was instrumental in creating our endowment, which you'll hear about later. And we're very excited to have him as part of the host committee. And just to tell you about debate, many of you know what it does. But research, organization, critical thinking skills, where research was once an easier skill to develop in the world today, there's digital literacy. You have to know what's real, what's fake, what you can use to support your arguments. And our students learn that every day, as well as the 4 C's, which employers look for: critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication, as well as obviously being able to speak in front of people and have the self-esteem to do that. So at this time, I just want to give some thank yous. Instead of at the end, I'll be doing it at the beginning. I want to thank all of our coaches, because without our coaches and the amount of time that they spend with our students, this initiative would never be as successful as it is. So thank you, coaches, for all you do. And I want to thank our sponsors. You can see their names scrolling. It's interactive, actually, so you can click on it and find out about any of them. that you would like to. First, I want to thank Broward Education Foundation. Since we started this luncheon, you're going to hear from Shay Siriago, their executive director, later. But since we started this initiative, they have been doing a match of $25,000 each year, and we really, really appreciate that from the Broward Education Foundation. Our champion sponsors, $10,000, Broward Health, Memorial Healthcare System, Cleveland Clinic, and the Corradino Group. Our finalist sponsors, $5,000, Gunster, JM Family Enterprises, Broward Center for the Performing Arts, Truist, and South Florida Business Journal. Our qualifier sponsors, $2,500, Halleck, Pettis and Schwam, Rick Case Automotive Group, Garth Solutions, Boy Schiller Flexner, Bright Star Credit Union, DS Frandme, Greenberg Trorig, Austin and Christine Foreman, and the National Speech and Debate Association, and our varsity sponsors for $1,000. Becker, Broward College, Broward Principals and Assistants Association, Kolodny FAST, Florida Power and Light, Greater Fort Lauderdale Alliance, Institute for Speech and Debate, Justice for Kids, a division of Kelly Cronenberg, Nova Southeastern University, Reuben Turnbull and Associates, Senator Nan and David Rich, Tripp Scott, White's Law Firm, and Wolf Law. And I also want to give a special thank you to Maureen Yeager and her assistant Tyler at Gunster. They work with us to put this luncheon together every year, and Maureen spends an incredible amount of time supporting us. And lastly, I want to thank our staff. We couldn't do it without our incredible district staff. When COVID hit in March, they immediately converted to virtual debate. So we have had hundreds of kids competing since March and have actually expanded access because of it being virtual. So I want to thank Applied Learning Director Susie Cantrick, Curriculum Supervisor Megan West, Justin Weaver, Jamie Akusu, John Martin, and Summer Scarlatelli. And lastly, I just want to say, in today's world, it's so important that our students are learning how to speak to and with each other, and how to hone their skills, learning about both sides of an issue. And they're the generation that's going to move our country forward and ensure that we are stronger together. Thank you all. And at this time, I'm going to introduce Mr. Eugene Pettis, who's going to come up and speak to you all for a few moments. Thank you, Gene.
Thank you. Thank you, Laurie, and thank you so much for your vision that's brought us here. You know, I was not a debater in school, but when Laurie spoke with me, it was immediately something that I saw the beautiful transformative power in the students' lives. So people say, why should I get engaged? Why should I support this type of initiative? You only have to look at TV over the last few months for a couple of minutes to see that us as adults have gotten it wrong. We're screaming at each other, we're not listening to each other, and we're really violating some of the basic principles that we try to teach in our youth. I think you're going to see in the performances today that the next generation, the skills that they are learning are hopefully going to be a part of the solution for a better society. It was Nelson Mandela who stated that history will judge us by the difference we make in the everyday lives of our children. This is a way in which we can give a little back to our students to lift them up to the table of opportunities and to give them the platform to let their voices be heard, let their ideas be a part of the solutions that we consider for a better society. So I invite you, as you listen to these students' performances, we have, you'll see on the screen a text to donate address, if you will. It's simple. We all have cell phones. We all have devices. Pick up your cell phone and put in the 50155. That's 50155, and it's immediately going to open up the message box and put debate. Put in the word debate, and a second later, it's going to give you an invite so that you can contribute whatever you would like to contribute. everything that we get is 100% for the students. You're not going to find any organization that donates 100% of the contributions to the betterment of the students. We give it to the students in way of transportation. We give it to the students in way of paying for their debate competition fees. And one thing that I think speaks to really the soul and the heart of our program and our goal of reaching all students. We've started something in the last couple of years in which we also have initiatives of programming in our youth treatment centers. These are centers where students have maybe misstepped somewhere in life, but you can't abandon them. You give them something to work toward. And a couple of years ago, we saw some of those students perform and they took the show. It shows that there's so much talent in all of our children, and we're still investing in those youth treatment centers so that those students can use debate as a pathway forward. So I'll get a chance to speak to you at the end, but I want you to really open up your minds and open up your hearts. And when you see the talent that we have here, think of the manner in which you can just give a little bit and it can mean a lot. So please contribute, use that donate text message system that we have, and let's make a difference in the next generation lives. I will now pass on back to Eric. Eric?
Yes, Mr. Pettis, thank you. Thank you to you and to Dr. Osgood and Ms. Levinson as well. Students in Broward County lucky not only to have so many cheerleaders like you guys in their corner, but so many leaders to show them the way. And I agree with you. There are some frustrations now, but if you watch what our young people are doing, the future is very bright, and initiatives like Broward Debate give these students the foundational pillars they need to carry on and continue to improve us. Speaking of students, very happy to introduce you right now to our first performer of the day. This is David Arut-Yunyan. He's a 5th grader at Fox Trail Elementary School. And fun fact for you about David, Fox Trail and about Fox Trail. Fox Trail is the home of the Broward's largest elementary debate contingent. Every student from pre-K to 5th grade gets to experience debate as part of their elective rotation, just like they do with art and PE. And David said his favorite thing about speech and debate is being able to use his voice for good. I think he's doing just that. Watch this.
Hello everyone. Today we are gathered here to recognize the meaning of the saying, stronger together. But what does it really mean, stronger together? When I think of it, a fable titled The Bundle of Sticks comes to mind. The fable is about a father who sees his sons constantly arguing and disagreeing with each other. Concerned about their disagreements, he finds a way to teach his sons to agree with each other and to work together. So he comes up with a plan. He asks each of his sons to take a bundle of sticks and try to break it. However, none of his sons can accomplish this. Then, when he asks them to each break a single stick, they easily break it. The father then goes on to explain to his sons the moral of the story. He demonstrates to them that united like a bundle of sticks, they will stand, and that being together is a strength, while divided like individual sticks, they will fall. My fellow citizens, think about how many challenges we have overcome together since the birth of our nation, from declaring an independence from a foreign king to forming a union after the Civil War, and to ending racial segregation. All of these were possible due to people coming together and, most importantly, working together. And like generations before us, today, our generation faces our share of challenges. Once in a lifetime COVID-19 pandemic has devastated our communities across the nation. Our fellow Americans became very sick. Hospitals were full of patients and didn't have enough masks or ventilators. Many people lost their jobs. Children could not attend their schools and be with their friends. But we realized that our strength is in unity, and we realized yet again that by working together, we can overcome those challenges. Many doctors went to volunteer in the hospitals. Many companies started to make extra masks and ventilators and donated them to hospitals and people. Our teachers started teaching us online and getting everyone on Zoom calls so that we can all see each other and interact with one another. In conclusion, stronger together is not just two simple words. These two words have deeper meaning. They mean that we must all be united when we face great challenges. Otherwise, it will be too hard to accomplish anything great ourselves. And as famous American author and political activist Helen Keller once said, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." And with this, I'd like to thank you for your time and your kind attention. Thank you.
Such a great description of what we can be together as a community. You know, as a healthcare provider, as a physician, I've always talked about the importance of healthcare being a foundational part of a community. I would add to that a clear sense of right and wrong, and probably most importantly, education. Educating our future leaders to help us be better at what we do, help us be better as human beings, and help us work together. And I think debate is one of these wonderful opportunities that does that. If you look at the statistics for debaters, it's really pretty impressive. They have higher GPAs, higher graduation rates, and perhaps most importantly, greater confidence. And I think it's that confidence that you'll see and hear from so many of us about that have been debaters in the past. I remember in high school when I debated, it gave me a completely different sense of confidence, standing in front of a room full of people arguing about what I felt, or maybe even what I didn't agree with, but it gave me a skill set to pitch, to help argue with other folks in a very positive, promising way, and to make me a better leader. And I think that is really one of the most important tools for success that we can give our students. And as a community, don't we owe that to our students? Don't we owe them the opportunity to be better at what they're going to do every day and to be better in their communication skills and to be better leaders? Students that you'll hear from today and students that participate in debate every day will be our future presidents, our future educators, our future healthcare providers, our future attorneys, CEOs, and perhaps even a future senator. One of my good friends, Senator George Lemieux, is here today, and he's going to be speaking with you as well. Senator Lemieux is perhaps one of the greatest advocates that I've ever seen when it comes to debate and the importance of teaching these communication skills to our next generation. Senator Lemieux.
Good afternoon and welcome again to our annual debate lunch. This is our 6th annual debate lunch in support of Broward County Debate. Thank you all to our sponsors who made this possible. Because of the efforts of my friend, Dr. Barsoom, and some of our other healthcare institutions here in Broward County, we now have an endowment that we are funding using proceeds from events like today to be able to make sure that the kids of today and the kids of tomorrow are able to attend debate tournaments. These tournaments can be expensive. Sometimes they're out of state. They're at prestigious universities around the country. And the dollars that you put in allow these students to be able to go to those tournaments. And when you donate your gently used clothing, you give a young person who perhaps doesn't have a suit or a tie or a dress the ability to feel confident in their own selves and their ability to participate in these debate events. So Dr. Barsoom, thank you so much for your leadership. Thank you to all of you who are here today. I want to also just echo the thanks to Lori Rich Levinson, to Eugene Pettis and Mike Satz, who came together to be the champions for this debate initiative. Broward County has the best debate program in America, the largest and the best. And it's because of them. It's because of Megan and her team, Susie and her team, and all of the folks that make this possible. Our great superintendent, Superintendent Runcie, and the school board of Broward County. So grateful for what we're doing for our kids. Why is debate important? It's important because you're teaching students not only the ability to listen and learn, to debate both sides, which gives them a greater appreciation for proper discourse and that there might be other ideas different than their own that are worth having and worth valuing. but it also creates competitiveness, a competitiveness in academics. You know, we focus on competitiveness in sports, and we should, but to give those same competitive juices to academics, where now kids want to research and learn and articulate better so that they can win a debate competition, that puts all of the incentives in the right places to educate our children and to turn them into super learners. For me, I was not a very good student when I was at Coral Springs High School, but thanks to my 9th grade English teacher, Arlene Gershberg, who became the founding teacher of our debate program, when she encouraged me to join debate, it transformed and changed my life. And I'm so grateful to her, and some of my fellow debaters in high school are sponsors of today's event, so I'm thankful to them as well. My portion of today's presentation is to award and recognize our community champion. Our community champion is someone that we have created an award for who has done so much for our community. And this year, it's my privilege to present that award to really a person who needs no introduction in Broward County. For more than 40 years, our community champion has served Broward County as our state attorney. He is, in my view, the best state attorney in the state of Florida and one of the best state attorneys that has ever served in this country. He has led that office since his election in November of 1976. And throughout his tenure, he has set up all sorts of different initiatives in his office to combat things like child abuse, elder abuse, domestic violence. When Broward became innovative on how to treat issues like drug dependency, Mike Satz was there to help us form that special court. He has worked to make sure that we gave special treatment to veterans. But he has really been a man for all seasons and is a lawyer's lawyer, and in Broward County for more than 40 years has been the people's lawyer. He has received so many Lifetime Achievement Awards. I can't name them all, but I'm going to name a few of them. He received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Broward County Commission, from B'nai B'rith. He was presented with the Alumni Achievement Award from his alma mater, the University of Miami. He was honored with the Jurisprudence Award from the Anti-Defamation League. He was honored in the Profile and Leadership Award from Leadership Broward. And he was given the Hart Award by the Broward County Children's Consortium. When I was working as the Deputy Attorney General of Florida, I got to partner with Mike Satz as the state attorney in Broward County. And that's when I saw firsthand why he is the best state attorney in America. When the Broward Debate Initiative started, Mike became one of the 4 community champions who's led this effort, and we would not have been as successful as we've been without the great Mike Satz. So I'm going to have my colleagues join us here at the podium and bring up our community champion award winner, Mike Satz. Mike, on behalf of all of us, we have this beautiful gavel to present to you. Thank you for all that you've done for our community over these many years.
Thank you so much. This is really a wonderful surprise. I got to say that Lori Levinson approached me. I was like Gene Pettis. I was not a debater in high school. When Lori approached me and I got to see what this program does, the debate initiative, I was hooked. I got to see, as George said and Gene said and Lori said, that it has done so much for children, gives them confidence, self-esteem, the ability to communicate. As Gene Pettis said, that's becoming a lost art now, the ability to communicate. And it's been a real pleasure to work with Lori Levinson and Senator Lemieux, who I've known for years and I consider a great friend and just a tremendous asset to the state of Florida, always has been. And Gene Pettis, who's also been a great friend of mine for many years and who was the past president of the Florida Bar. and has done such a spectacular job with the Florida Bar. And we're so fortunate to have him locally as one of our champions. This is a great surprise for me. I cannot think of a better group of people who have done so much for our community. To recognize me is such a tremendous honor. They're not only great advocates and far better champions than me, but they're great friends, and recognized by them is so, so special. So thank you so much. And I just want to give my 2 cents about the initiative, the debate initiative. As Gene Pettis said, every dollar goes to the kids, and that's so important. It's a great, great program. I'll be dedicated to it for as long as I can be, and it's just wonderful working with people who really do so much for children, and that's what we want to accomplish. So thank you very, very much.
Well, it just proves that you can still have some surprises in life.
Oh,
We were
yeah.
able to surprise our friends. So I want to say just in conclusion, a thank you also to, as Lori mentioned, to Maureen Yeager and Tyler Bell and my firm Gunster, who work with Megan and Susie and their teams to put this on every year. Thank you so much. And Eric, I'll turn it back to you.
Senator Lemieux, thank you very much. Congratulations to Mr. Satz as well. And we want to introduce our next speaker, Gianna Dixon. Gianna, she is a 5th grader from Florinata Elementary. She is the champion of the 1st annual Speaking for the Future speech contest. She won her spot here today by receiving the most votes to share her interpretation of what it means to be stronger together. Stronger together is a theme that you have heard all throughout the afternoon here. Gianna said her favorite thing about debate is being able to meet new friends at tournaments. Of course, that's a little bit more challenging now via Zoom, but you're making the connections that really matter. And a source told me, a little birdie told me that Gianna earned 1st place at her first virtual tournament of the year last week. That's big time. All right, without any further ado, please meet Gianna Dixon.
August is the sun. Me and Mom and Dad are the planets orbiting around the sun. The rest of our family and friends are asteroids and comets floating around the planets orbiting the sun. The only celestial body that doesn't orbit August's sun is Daisy the dog. And that's only because to her little doggy eyes, August's face doesn't look very much different to any other human's face. To Daisy, all our faces look alike, as flat and as pale as the moon. Have you ever had a little brother that looked different from everybody else? Well, this happened to Olivia Colman in the book Wonder. I'm used to the way this universe works. I've never minded it because it's all I've ever known. I've always understood that August is special and has special needs. If I was playing too loudly and he was trying to take a nap, I knew I'd have to play something else because he needed his rest after some procedure or another thing that left him weak and in pain. If I wanted Mom and Dad to come watch me play soccer, I knew that 9 out of the 10 times they'd miss it because they'd be busy shuttling August to speech therapy or physical therapy or a new specialist or even a surgery. Mom and Dad would always say I was the most understanding little girl in the world. I don't know about that. It's just that I understood that there was no point in complaining. I've seen August after his surgeries. His little face bandaged up and swollen, his little body full of IVs and tubes, just to keep him alive. After seeing somebody else going through that, it kind of feels crazy to complain over not getting the toy you would ask for, or your mom missing a school play. I knew this even when I was 6. No one ever told me, I just knew it. So I've gotten used to not complaining, and I've gotten used to not bothering Mom and Dad with the little stuff. I've gotten used to figuring things out on my own. How to put my toys together, how to organize my life so I never miss a friend's birthday party. I've never asked for help with my homework. Never needed reminding to finish a project or study for a test. If I was having trouble with a subject in school, I'd go home and I'd study it until I figured it out on my own. I taught myself how to convert fractions into decimal points just by going online. I've done every school project pretty much by myself. Whenever Mom or Dad ask me how things are going with school, I've always said, good. Even when things haven't always been so good. My worst day, worst fall, worst headache, worst bruise, worst cramp, worst mean thing anyone could ever say to you has always been nothing compared to what August has gone through. And this isn't just me being noble, by the way. It's just the way I know it is. And this is the way that it has always been for me, for the little universe of us. But this year, there seems to be a shift in the cosmos. The galaxy is changing. The planets are falling out of alignment. Thank you.
Gianna Dixon, fantastic. Great job. Look, just one view for you of the many talented individuals, young people that are thriving and growing here through the Broward Debate Initiative. I want to continue today's program, the next stop on our journey, to recognize a principal, a volunteer, a coach of the year, who symbolizes exactly why BCPS Debate Initiative is so successful. As it says in your virtual program, you may have access to that. Together we win. 3 award recipients embody that mantra exactly. So to kick off this portion of the event, I'm going to turn it over to Megan West. You've heard her mentioned a few times already this afternoon. She's the supervisor for civic engagement at Broward County Public Schools, also live at the Broward Center for the Performing Arts. Hi, Megan.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Eric said, my name is Megan West. I'm the coordinator of the Debate Initiative, formerly the supervisor for civic engagement in the Department of Applied Learning. Like everyone else, I have a couple of really quick thank yous. First of all, Mrs. Levinson mentioned them earlier, but my team is indebted for the amount of work that they've put in for this. My right hand for this event, Jamie Akusu, Justin Weaver, John Martin, Summer Scarlatelli have been burning the candle at both ends, making sure that everything was perfect today for all of you joining us from all over. Second, I need to thank my boss, Susie Cantrick, the Director of Applied Learning, her boss, Chief Academic Officer Dan Gohl, and his boss, Superintendent Robert Runcie, who's here with us and you'll hear from later. They really allow us to do what we love to do. And at the end of the day, they trust us. They're constant cheerleaders for our program and really allow all of the opportunities that we have for students to happen and happen well, frequently, and with more support than any person in my position could ever ask for. And then last but not least, I know Mrs. Levinson thanked them as well, but I have to thank our coaches and our students. They are the heartbeat of why we do this. Our teachers that are in the classroom, in the trenches, they have a Herculean task right now in this virtual world, and they have risen to the occasion and are continuing to provide more opportunities for our students than we even did pre-COVID world. That said, I'll shift gears a little bit, and I am honored today to present our Administrator of the Year award to someone very special. I have a couple of quick little stories of my experience in debate with administrators, both which were really formulaic in how I feel about administrators and their role in speech and debate activities in general. First of all, in 2003, when I was a junior in high school, my team was coming back from the state tournament in Austin, Texas. I went to a little tiny school in Texas. We had won the state championship. We were bringing it home a few hours away, and it was about 2 a.m. when we arrived back to the school. We showed up, our parents were all in the parking lot. They had signs and banners and balloons and silly string. And also sitting in the parking lot was my high school principal, Jeff Mulkey. At 2 a.m. in the middle of the night, sometime in May of 2003, he had rolled out of bed and came to tell us how proud he was of us for winning the state championship as a debate team. That not only changed my perception of the role a principal could have in speech and debate, but really allowed me to believe that we were doing this for a larger purpose, for our whole school. And that was a true turning point for me and how an administrator could really support these activities. Then I became a teacher. I taught at Cypress Bay High School for 7 years, and many of you in the room and watching know the infamous Scott Neely, the principal at Cypress Bay High School. In 2013, about 10 years after this incident in the parking lot at my high school, we convinced Scott Neely, the principal at Cypress Bay, to come with us to Berkeley, California for a debate trip. So I had 55 high school students, Mr. Neely, our activities director, Bill Caruso, and we went all the way to California to this giant national debate competition. What we watched and witnessed was transformational. These students were fighting over who got to sit next to Mr. Neely at the dinner table. They were fighting over whose round he got to come watch next. And it was magical to see how much their principal, their administrator being there in their corner really meant to them. We lost him a few times along the way and then called him, and he came back and watched some rounds. And those of you that know Neely will appreciate that anecdote. But it was really special to see that relationship build, and what would then happen after my students returned to school for the rest of their high school careers, to know that they had that champion in their corner. So it is my honor today to present this award to someone who is just as an exceptional administrator and has really stepped up in a new position in a big way to show how much she supports her students. I first met this principal when we were running our Applied Learning Summer Camp, Align, over the summer, and she immediately sat down and said, hey, Megan, I want to start a new debate program at this school. I want a new era. We want to be big. We want to be strong. We want to be better. I need a coach. Can you help me find one? And I said, well, actually, there's this elementary school coach that really wants to come to middle school, and I think you might be a great fit for each other. She called her the next day. She got her hired a week later, and she now has one of the biggest and fastest growing programs in Broward County. She has not only supported her students in their virtual practices, but she has not missed a tournament all year. So this administrator is truly in the trenches with her coach, with her students, supporting that 2 a.m. parking lot style and staying at the end with us. I am so honored and excited. We're about to go on location to the debate coach, Eloise Finley, to present the 2020 Administrator of the Year Award to Miss Jill Slasinski from Lauderdale Lakes Middle School. Yay.
Hello. Oh my gosh, you already made me cry. She's about to cry. She's starting with the box on my table and she's like, what's in your box? I'm like, oh, some little knickknacks. So, Ms. Slasinski, it's a great honor that I present this to you. You are so deserving of this award.
Listen, I'm so surprised. I don't know what to say, but I am just honored and humbled to be the recipient of this award. Honestly, we just started our full debate program, and I could not have done it, obviously, without our amazing coach, Ms. Finley, and the help of you all in applied learning, Megan. So thank you so much. The kids have been unbelievably amazing, and that's why I love going to all the competitions, and judging is a very hard thing to do. I learned that because to me, every child is a winner. But we are just so excited here at Lauderdale Lakes Middle School to continue our journey of debate. We're looking for some continued victories and success. And thank you all for this award. I appreciate it. Air hugs to all of you. And thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, Ms. Finley.
My name is Angelise Gracia. I used to go to MacArthur High School and I competed in multiple different events, mainly speech. My main events were OO, Duo, and Info, and POI, which I competed in nationals with. I personally think that first impressions is everything. When you walk into that room, you want to look like you actually want to try at this event. When you look the part, you feel the part.
I had an individual on my campus by the name of Renee Grutman. She's an awesome lady. She worked with District PTSA, and we have the PTSA clothing bank on my campus. Well, Renee's involved with speech and debate. I'm involved with speech and debate. We already had the one clothing bank here. So now we host the clothing bank for speech and debate.
I've always worn hand-me-downs. I've never really truly bought clothes that were like for myself, because like I come from a low-income family. We can't afford to buy clothes.
Apollo is 87% free and reduced lunch. As of this year, we're now up to 97% free and reduced lunch. COVID has had quite an impact in this community in Hollywood. So it has been great to see my students, as well as the students from MacArthur, the students from Miramar High School, have the opportunity to come over, get themselves outfitted, and get ready for competition.
Pretty much I visited more than anybody else at MacArthur High School. It was actually pretty fun. I don't wear a lot of skirts or dresses. I personally like the feel of a professional suit. What I would do was I would go around picking up my suits, but at the same time, I'd also go runs for not just myself, but my team. If they couldn't come, I came with a list and I'd pick out whatever they needed and made sure that they got what they needed. I left happy. I was like, oh my God, I finally have an outfit. I finally have something appropriate to wear. I was like, I can't wait to put this on and my sisters are going to see. And then some of the clothes that I used to have, now my sisters wear. Then after like the final year when I was actually grabbing for other people, I was like, I can't wait to see their faces. It's the thrill of just going through and seeing whether or not there are like little goodies in the store for you, because you guys offer shoes, not just clothes, and for guys, ties. It's all free and it is available. And I thank you for that. Oh my God. Most of my outfits in my closet are from you guys.
When we open up the portable for parents to come and get items for their children, you also see coaches from various schools come, and they come with a whole like wish list and sizes for their kids. And oftentimes you'll see one coach with a couple of kids gathering everything they can to bring back to their students who need it.
The average American throws away 70 pounds of clothes, and of those clothes, over 21 billion pounds end up in landfills. And of those, the clothes that land up in the landfill due to the deterioration process of those clothes, over 700 million tons of greenhouse gases are released into the air, contributing to global warming. Put it to a good use. Like, put it to somewhere that you can, like you can say, oh yeah, I helped a kid. I helped a kid do good on their competition. I helped a kid look good for that interview. Because it's not just the competitions that I've been using these suits for. I used it for my senior pictures. I used it for my first job interview. I still use it now at my work, because I work on campus at the Office of First Generation Success. I look professional and I feel professional. So in all honesty, those donors who are watching this video should donate, because the people who get these clothes are putting it to a good use.
Make project and a segue to the next award. Good afternoon, I'm Shay Siriago and the Executive Director of Broward Education Foundation, and I have the honor of presenting the Volunteer of the Year Award. Few have given as much as this year's recipient, who is being awarded posthumously. She was a dear friend, my partner in crime, a colleague, a tireless champion for students in Broward County Public Schools, Renee Grubman. At every turn and with every breath she took, she was advocating for students. She believed that education and had a level of playing field for all students was the key to their success. If you knew Renee, you'd know she fought tooth and nail to help her kids. When she learned some debate students didn't have suitable clothing for debate competitions, Renee set work organizing a professional clothing drive. With the number of talented debate students ever increasing, Renee doubled and tripled her efforts. Ultimately, the speech and debate clothing section of the PTSA Clothing Bank was born. Many a student has gone to win competitions clothed in garments resulting in Renee's passion. Renee's volunteerism wasn't just confined to the debate clothing students. She helped organize countless clothing drives, holiday food drives, and actively volunteered and was on the board of Broward Education Foundation. She spearheaded the employee giving campaign where no was not an option. She raised funds and she raised the roof. It is bittersweet that we honor Renee Grubman with this Volunteer of the Year award today. She would have been so proud. But it also gives me great pleasure to announce that henceforth, this award will be named the Renee Grubman Volunteer of the Year Award. When I think of Renee, I'm reminded of a quote by Mother Teresa. It is not how much love we give, it is how much love goes into giving. Renee Grubman loved giving. It is an extreme honor for me to present this award to Renee's children, Stephanie and Ian, and the Grubman family. Please raise your glass in a toast
for Renee Grutman, Volunteer of the Year.
Hello. Hi, everybody. We're saying hi from Weston, and we have our whole family with us. Hello. Hello. So first, I'll introduce everybody, but I just wanted to say, like, Mom always felt no one should ever be ashamed to go to school because they didn't have clothes, and no one should ever be hungry. And that was like her personal mission, was to make sure that no one was ever felt degraded or ashamed to go to school. And so thank you so much, Mrs. Lori Rich Levinson, for giving her the opportunity to expand that and to be a part of debate also. I know when they first created the clothing bank many moons ago, of course, my mom is Renee, and she harassed Macy's to come and help them set it up. And I know it moved locations a few times over the years, but my family and I are committed to making sure that it stays beautiful, and we're going to try to upgrade it and do some more work to make sure that you guys have the debate clothes that you need. So first, I just wanted to say who we have here. So this is Ian Grutman, my brother, and my cousin Scott Anderson. And all of us are graduates of Griffin, Pioneer, and Cooper, but we were DECA kids, not debate kids. Scotty is now a teacher at Miramar High, and he has his own debate kids who were one of the pictures that you guys put up. And his dad, my Uncle John Anderson, was a coach a debate coach at Cypress Bay, and had the pleasure of working with Daniel Levinson. And so debate is always very special. And of course, you guys know my Aunt Fran Anderson. She was always with Mom, and usually the one that was dragging the clothes out of the trunk as necessary and helping her collect it. And Aunt Fran also now works at Flanagan, but she worked at Cypress Bay and at Griffin and at Piper with our very own Angel and my husband Jason Zouder, and our two beautiful monkeys, Brooke and Adam, who both are at Gator Run. So we are a full Broward Schools family. And I also just wanted to thank, there are a couple people that popped on, and we're going to try to get them more engaged and making contributions. And so our friends from Verizon are on, Beth and Raphael and Rodoshi LeBrands. And then I also have some of my partners, Chris Dorworth and Anna Cruz, that came to visit us today. And Ballard is going to commit to be a sponsor for all of our future events. And I think our cousins, David and Isabella Grutman, are on, and they don't know yet, but their charity, Style Saves, is going to be partnering with us also to make sure that we have the absolute best clothes. So I think that is everything. I wanted to thank all of the amazing school board members. Dr. Osgood, congratulations on becoming chair, and Lori Rich Levinson, you know you're very special and near and dear to our heart. I like to consider myself the fourth Rich daughter, if possible, and also Anne Marie, who Mom always would rile up to make sure that that the locations were good and strong, and her amazing principal, Sean Aycock. Thank you so much for allowing us to house it at your school, and quite honestly for putting up with Renee's entertainment every day. And I also, I don't know if she's on the call, but Jennifer Gottlieb was the original school board member who helped us set up the clothing bank. So I wanted to thank her. And then of course the amazing PTA folks who I think are on here, Bert, Wendy, Maxine, and Linda, and many others who have had to move and buy t-shirts and look for shoes, and all of that amazing stuff. And just thank you guys so much for honoring Mom. We look forward to being a part of this. And today our family is going to be contributing $2,500 to help get it kicked off, and look forward to committing much more. Oh, and Shay, we love you so much. Thank you for being such a special, special part of our life, and just such a good friend. And you were the very, very, very first person I called when Mom passed, because I didn't want anyone to send us food for Shiva. I wanted them to send money to Broward Education Foundation. And so literally like 10 minutes after Mom passed, you guys created the Bert and Renee Grutman fund over at Broward Education Foundation, and a portion of that will go for debate, and a portion of it will go for school uniforms. And so please feel free to donate to that also anytime, and thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much, Jay. It was indeed an incredible work she did for this district, will forever be appreciated. I just want to let you all know we're running about 15 minutes behind. We hope you'll stay with us. We have an incredible middle schooler coming on to do congressional debate for you. Right after I introduce our superintendent, Robert Runcie. As I mentioned earlier, when I first went to him to discuss expanding debate in the district, he couldn't have done more than he has done now. It's because of him that we have it in our schools, that he has really pushed. He's understood the value. Although he was not himself a debater, he is a first generation to graduate from college himself, so he knows the importance of giving these opportunities to our students and making sure that they all have these opportunities. So Mr. Runcie will come up right now and present our last award, and then you will hear from our wonderful middle schooler and have a quick closing. So please welcome Superintendent Robert Runcie.
Thank you, Ms. Levinson, and thank you for being such a relentless supporter of speech and debate. And yes, you're right. Shortly after I arrived in Broward County, we had many discussions about expanding speech and debate. I absolutely believe that it's not just another course or an event or an activity. It is an essential life skill that all of our students need in order to be successful. And so it's my hope that someday that every student will take speech and debate at some point in their academic careers they go through Broward County. You know, as we were having discussions about expanding debate years ago, one of the things I did was have conversations with some of the students, and I happened to have an extensive conversation with a student once I was on a plane. We were actually I was coming back from Chicago that weekend, and they were on the same flight coming back from the National Forensic Tournament that was outside of Chicago. So we got a chance to sit next together on the plane and talk about his experience, which was extraordinary, how it transformed his life. But one of the things we talked about was what was required in order to make speech and debate successful and maintain the quality of the program as we expanded it. So we didn't just want, you know, quantity, we wanted quality as part of speech and debate. And one thing that he said was extremely important, that's critical to the success of the program, it's the quality of the coaches that you have at each school and their commitment. So today I am really excited that I now get the privilege to present our Cordino Coach of the Year Award. And I am told that this year's recipient is not only one of our exceptional debate coaches, but a former competitor and debate lifer as well. After providing external coaching support to many of our high schools, this coach moved to Broward County in 2018 to take over a team that needed his experience and expertise, but most importantly, also his love and passion for this. One of my favorite things about speech and debate is that our debate classrooms create safe spaces for our important discourse and serves as homes away from home for so many of our students. The relationship, the connections they make are invaluable there. Our 2020 Coach of the Year has definitely created a home for their team in a short 2 years. Boasting one of the most successful high school programs in the county, this coach has an energy that is unmatched, and their love for education, specifically speech and debate, make them a beacon of inspiration, wit, and wisdom for their students and peers alike. So without further ado, let's recognize the Debate Broward 2020 Coordinator Coach of the Year, Dr. Jacob Abraham, a proud Eagle from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School.
I can see my classroom. Woo! Right here. I don't know where you went.
Congratulations, Dr. Abraham. Well deserved.
I gotta start attending to class. I saw my classroom on the screen and I figured I should go open the door. Hopefully the echo isn't too bad. Thank you to my principal, my assistant principal, all of my students, some of which are live streaming the event through my Teams because I'm on Zoom and Teams at the same time. Megan, who after trying to get me to go to Cypress Bay, finally got me to come to Douglas. I could not be more appreciative of everything that is afforded to me. My classroom, my students. This cool thing can go on the shelf next to my sloth and unicorn. So thank you so much.
Yay!
Congratulations, caught him right, doing what he does best, engaged with our students here in Broward County. Congratulations not only to Dr. Abraham, but to all of the award recipients today. It takes a village, right, to raise, to nurture, to grow our students. And here in Broward County, all these students are very lucky to have you all as a part of this village. I want to make one note. Many of you may have tried the text to donate option earlier. There was a glitch that was happening on our end, but that glitch has been fixed. So right now you can go back to that text to donate option, and hopefully in the time between you tried to donate before and right now, you were more inspired, and that will make you much more generous. As in debate, like in broadcasting, trust me, I know every single day, and certainly many of you know at home, whenever you have an argument or a conversation, the last word can be incredibly important. So today, the last word is going to go to an incredible young student, Vyom Mishra, and then we'll have closing remarks at the end of what Vyom has to deliver for you today by Mr. Eugene Pettis. But Vyom is an 8th grader at Falcon Cove Middle School. His specialty is congressional debate. In fact, he's won all 3 tournaments he's competed in so far this year. In congressional debate, students serve as a mock representative. They debate about real, as in currently being debated in either Tallahassee or Washington, and student-created legislation. They're up to the moment. They're engaged with what's happening right now. Now, in preparation for today, Vyom chose a topic relevant to the status quo and wrote a bill and a speech to show you the power of change in this activity. And I know a lot of you have been wondering about asking questions. While he's speaking, you can feel free to put cross-examination questions about what you're hearing in the Q&A, and Vyom will enter a few of those questions after his speech. And I'm very sure by the conclusion of what Vyom has to say, you will not be surprised to learn that he is interested in pursuing a career in law or in politics. So without any further ado, let's go live to Weston, Florida. Vyom is at home. He joins us remotely. Good morning, good afternoon, Vyom.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Vyom Mishra, and I will be presenting you an authorship legislation and speech about a bill to mandate voting to increase participation in the democratic system. The United States will implement a mandatory voting system with all eligible citizens. Those who do not vote shall be fined $20 that will not be compounded over time, have no other civil or criminal actions taken against them, and can be repaid in full for 20 hours of community service. A mandatory voting system shall be defined as a system that requires all registered voters to show up at the designated polling place by election day or send in a mail-in ballot to a designated drop box before election day. The Federal Election Committee shall be in charge of overseeing the state's implementation of the voting system. The vote is precious. It is the most powerful, non-violent tool we have in a democratic society, and we must use it. This quote is by John Lewis, an inspirational congressman and leader. His words are so important in the wake of the election and our actions after. It is time we extend the vote to all citizens. The huge problem in our status quo is voter turnout and how millions of Americans don't even register in the first place. The U.S. Census Bureau reported that over 245.5 million Americans were eligible to vote, but only 157.6 million reported to be registered to vote in 2016. While all the numbers aren't out for that election earlier this month, we know that over 140 million people voted for these presidential candidates. This is still a far cry from the over 245.5 million Americans that are legally eligible to vote. However, my bill solves this issue. It allows for state laws that prohibit registering after a certain day, requiring unnecessary certain documents to be given at the time of registration, and simple timing conflicts to be a thing of the past. According to the American Civil Liberties Union, of February 3rd, 2020, New York required voters to register 25 days in advance, creating an unnecessary burden on the American people. For example, in the 2016 presidential election, over 90,000 Americans were unable to cast their vote because of the unnecessary cutoff, holding back thousands of voices that must be heard. Moreover, in 2011, Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach championed a law requiring certain things like your birth certificate and passport in lower income areas where these documents were not carried by hand by these people. As a result, this had blocked 30,000 people from voting. While this law was overturned, it was not the only one of its kind. But just to prove that this is the right solution, we look towards the Brookings Institute, which reported on July 24, 2020. They insisted that no fines for voting should be larger than $20, while also asserting that no criminal or civil penalty should be in place for not paying this fine, and that the financial amount should not be compounded over time. They also include that the proposed religious or other qualms that were being given about voting could bypass the penalty, but it would force the majority of Americans to get up and vote, something my bill outlines in Section 2. Compulsory voting will reap the benefits of high voter turnout while also allowing those uninterested to back out. This will strengthen our democracy by giving all people, no matter what race, religion, or gender, an equal vote, pushing against voter suppression. In John Lewis's words, the vote is precious, but that doesn't mean that it should be a luxury to those with the most privilege. Pass this bill to make voting a right and not a privilege. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Viome. If anybody has any cross-examination questions for Viome, feel free to put those in the Q&A. All right. One question for you, Viome. What would you say to our fellow Americans who would say that their right to freedom of speech includes the choice to not vote, and that that's a way for them to voice their political opinion?
Well, as I stated in Section 2, my bill says that people can go to the designated polling place or drop box and choose to not vote. But this bill tries to underline the effects that we have by trying to encourage people to vote to strengthen our democracy in the wake of the pandemic.
All right, thank you. And with no further questions, we'll turn things back over to Mr. Pettis. Thank you, Viome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eric, and thank you to all the participants today. You've just gotten a small sample of the great talent that we have here in Broward County. And George mentioned earlier, but Broward County has the largest program of debate in the country, which is something we're very, very proud of. And I think it speaks to the leadership of our school board as well as Mr. Runcie. Congratulations again to Viome. He's been hot on a hot streak, if you will, with winning everything that he has gotten into by way of congressional debate. And it could not be more timely as we watch the summation of the 2020 presidential debate that he is already taking up the issue of mandatory voting of all citizens here in the United States. And I think it's going to be his generation that really comes up with some solutions to make what has been a historic election not an exception, but rather something that we all look forward to participating, not just on the presidential level, but also on the state level. Again, folks, that we hope that you have seen the power of making a difference in a child's life. The young lady, Indy, I mean, her emotions and excitement really came through the screen, just listening to how a few outfits have changed her life, to change the way she feels. She feels professional. She knows she looks professional. These stories can be told throughout our district and throughout our communities. And I always impress upon you, there are things in your closets now that you've not worn for the last year. And it's not just because of COVID. There are things that you don't wear. Those clothes were good items and can be brought to life in a young person's closet that they can compete. You have to have certain attire, and clothing should never be an excuse why one of our young people can't be given an opportunity to grow as an individual, to grow as a debater, and to contribute to society. Money should not be a reason why some of our students. One of the things we've noticed here is that when we've gone to virtual competitions, we've seen more students participate. And those are students that now electronic advances allows more people to be involved. So continue to give, continue to support through clothing and our contributing to our clothing bank. And also you can volunteer. Those are the three ways. We hope that you've been enlightened and touched by this effort, and you can continue to be a part of what's really a success story here in Broward County, in the state of Florida, and across the country. Our students are our greatest asset. Please continue to be a part of the solutions to help them change our society. Thank you, and thank you so much for tuning in, and hope to see you next year at our 7th undertaking of a luncheon. And hopefully by then we're back together in person. Have a great day. Thanks to all the students. Excellent job. We're off.
No.